Hello everyone, welcome to Arka Science, and today in this video I will be talking about the retrograde motion of Mercury in the sign of Leo for all 12 ascendant signs. On 24th of August 2023, Mercury has turned retrograde in the sign of Leo, and this will go on till 16th of September 2023, and then finally Mercury will turn direct in the sign of Leo. So basically it's a span of 24 days and it will be happening in the sign of Leo itself. Mercury is a planet of intelligence, our thought process, our ability to think with our intelligence, our logical and analytical skills, our speech, our communication. In fact, the whole of the communication sector comes under the genre of Mercury. Our ability to connect with each other through our thoughts, through our speech is Mercury. Mercury also deals with any kind of work which requires perfection, which requires consistency, proper order, proper management. Everything is Mercury. And looking into this fact, at this point of time, you see Mercury is retrograde in the sign of Leo, which deals with administration, authority, our ego, creativity, art, culture. And few days back, Mars has entered the sign of Virgo, which is ruled by Mercury. And Mars and Mercury, they are not friendly to each other. In fact, Virgo is a inimical sign to Mars, and Virgo is ruled by Mercury. So during this particular time, what will happen? There can be some kind of dilemma, confusion in our thought process, and not only in our thought process, in our actions also, because Virgo is the sign which requires perfection and Mars is a fiery planet. Mars will not think about that I need to do this in this order or that order. It will just think about a particular work and it will just perform it. But here Mercury, which rules over Virgo, the significance of Virgo is all about proper pattern, perfection, order, proper manner, consistency. And that Lord of Virgo is transiting 12th house from Virgo in the sign of Leo in the retrograde motion. So that means there will be not only confusion and dilemma in the thought process but also in our actions. So this also indicates that whatever work we are doing, there will be a considerable chance that we will re-question ourselves on the mode of our thinking and our actions. This will not only impact our ego, because the sign of Leo is under the consideration, but also it will also make us think the way by which we are performing our creativity, because every one of us has one or more talents in one or more way, correct, and we use it in our day-to-day life. And this Mercury will make us reevaluate those things, and that will be more evident because Mars is transiting in the sign of Virgo at this point of time. So it may be like some kind of a feeling of lethargy also to some extent, because you will feel that as if there is some kind of brain fog happening within ourselves, some kind of unclear thoughts. Now this normally does not happen every time when Mercury turns retrograde, but this is happening now, more essentially because Mercury is receiving the aspect of retrograde Saturn. Mercury is also getting the aspect of Jupiter, but don't forget Jupiter is also at this point of time conjunct with Rahu, and very soon on first week of September, and more precisely if I say 4th of September, Jupiter will also turn retrograde. So that time that retrograde Jupiter will aspect retrograde Mercury, and Saturn is already retrograde in the sign of Aquarius. So this is a time when I will say that wheresoever Mercury is placed in your chart, and wheresoever the houses Mercury rules in your horoscope, that is, Mercury rules the sign of Gemini and Virgo. So wheresoever the sign Gemini and Virgo lies in your horoscope, and since it is transiting in the sign of Leo, you have to take the consideration of the sign Leo also. These houses, you will see that significations related to those houses, you have to reevaluate, you have to rethink, as if you are managing the things again and again. Suppose if it is any of these houses are associated with your 10th house, suppose for example, then you will see that you have to manage your work again and again. So your speech and communication with your authorities will be very essential during that particular time. One wrong sentence or one wrong step can create problems for you. Okay, so you have to be careful in this manner. Now let us look at the brighter side. Leo is a friendly sign to Mercury, and at this point of time Mercury is conjunct with Sun. So that means Mercury considers Sun as a friend, and Saturn considers Mercury as a friend. So that means by the time the Mercury comes into its direct motion, that means by the time 16th of September comes, you will see the problems or the dilemma which are coming in our path, all those will start giving you good results. Because now the problems which are coming in front of you or in your path, you will see that you will get a proper mechanism by your thoughts to work on it in a more proper manner, and ultimately that will give you good results in the upcoming days to come. So initially there can be some kind of confusion or some kind of delays, or you may feel that I need to think over it again and again, or I have to do it again and again. And sometimes you will also feel that you are facing the that critics also. Why I say critics? Because Mars, our energy and action, is transiting through the sign of Virgo at this point of time. So you will feel that you cannot do mistakes. You do the mistakes and you get to hear, you get to listen. Okay, so this is a very crucial time when you need to reorder the things again and again, because it is not like that you think it about something and it happens. Since it is retrograde and so many planets are also retrograde at the same time, and Jupiter is also planning to turn retrograde on 4th of September, and it will aspect the sign of Leo. So our wisdom, we have to be careful regarding that also, that we should not take any wrong decisions out of the confusion or out of frustration. It is very essential during this particular time. And I will say that to some extent in everyone's life this will impact, depending upon wheresoever these houses are present in our horoscope. Now suppose by any chance if you are running through the dasha of Mercury, or you are running through the dasha of any planet sitting in these houses, in that case also this particular transit of Mercury is going to give you or it will going to impact you in a big magnitude, I will say. So anytime if you want a consultation from me, you can check the links down in the description section, or you can mail me through my email ID, or you can connect with me through my Facebook or Instagram accounts. You will find the links down in the description section. And if you are new to this channel, then I will request all of you to tap onto the subscribe button, click onto the notification bell icon, so that every time I make a new video you get notified instantly. And now I will start for all the 12 ascendant signs. Let us start with the sign of Aries. Mercury is a very important planet for you, for the Aries people, for the Aries ascendant. Mercury rules your 3rd house and 6th house, and Mercury is retrograding in the 5th house. So first of all, 2-3 things which comes in my mind is that any kind of efforts which you are putting in your creative skills, your learning skills, in your education, in your intelligence, you have to rethink about it. maybe it is not up to the mark, or maybe you are facing some kind of delays, or you may feel some kind of problems or frustrations regarding your education. Even if you are doing any kind of work, or you are managing your day-to-day activities, in that case also you may face some kind of problems. So this is a time when you have to recalculate the order, the planning, the management of your day-to-day work. Maybe there can be a possibility that certain things does not motivate you which used to motivate you back then. This can be a possibility. If it happens with you, please do let me know down in the comment section. Okay, suppose if you are associated with anything related to education, or if you are a student, in that case I will say that there can be certain amount of disinterest in your mode of studies. Specifically, if you are associated with anything related to competitive exams, then I will say you that more hard work is essential, or maybe something you are lacking behind, which is not letting you to perform or excel at the highest mode. So this retrograde Mercury, make use of it, rethink it, that what is the thing which is not allowing you to go ahead. In that way it will give you very good results. Suppose if you are working somewhere, you are doing some kind of job or service, in that case also I will say you that this is a time which indicates there are certain things you have to learn, certain things you have to improve regarding your skill set. You have to improve your intelligence regarding that work. This is a time when you have to be more smart, because you are doing the hard work. But this Mercury is saying no, something more is there, learn it. So you have to find that thing. Okay, that is what it indicates. Since 5th house is also the house of love and romance, so, and Mercury is the 3rd house lord for you. So this is a time when I will say that if you are associated with anything related like love and romantic relationship, in that case also I will say some kind of miscommunications are possible during this time. So in order to make things much more perfect, try to avoid any kind of arguments, rather than come to more logical things. Try to mitigate the problems or the miscommunications, sitting together, listen to each other, that will give you much more better results. Okay, Mercury will be aspecting your 11th house also. So it indicates two things. First of all, that more you work on your creativity, your talent, your communication skills, your intelligence, more it is going to give you good results, because it is looking into the 11th house of gains. The second thing is that 11th house is also the house of social communication, your social network, your network circle. So during this particular time, there can be a possibility of miscommunication between you and your network circle. So you have to be careful regarding what you are expressing, with whom you are expressing. If you are unsure about something, it's better to remain silent on certain matters, because that will help you to avoid the miscommunication. Okay, so that's it for the Aries ascendant people. Make the most out of it. For the Taurus ascendant people, Mercury is a very important planet. Mercury is your second lord of finance, wealth, your speech, values, your family. Mercury also rules your 5th house of your Purva Punya, your joy, your pleasure, your peace of mind, your children, your progeny, your intelligence, your creative self-expression. It's a so important planet for you, and it is retrograding in the 4th house. So the first and foremost thing which comes in my mind is that if you are associated with anything related to education, if you are a student, or if you are any person associated with education fraternity, you have to be very much focused in your work. If you are a student, you have to be very focused in your studies. If you are a teacher, then you have to be very focused while you are performing or delivering your knowledge to the students. If you are associated with any work related to accounts, finance, banking, trading, you have to be careful regarding your work, your documentations, your written work, your email and everything. Mercury rules your second house. That means your speech, your communication, what you are saying, to whom you are saying is very essential during this particular time, because Mercury will be looking onto your 10th house of your job, your career, your profession, your authorities. So you have to be 100% correct in your deliverance of your thoughts, your speech. You cannot do the mistakes, correct? So you have to rethink about these things, and then it will give you good results. Since Mercury rules your 5th house and it is retrograde in the 4th house, so that means it indicates that certain matters are not managed properly. You have to manage your day-to-day activities properly. You have to get your motivations correct, and then it will give you good results. Your creativity and your intelligence requires more hard work to acquire those knowledge into your day-to-day life. You have to work on those things. Since it is happening in the 4th house, I will say you that any matter related to your home or homely environment, domestic affairs, be it the communication between you and your family members, or any matter related to your family, your home, may require your attention again and again during this particular time. You have to be very careful regarding the health of your mother during this transit. And I will also say that any equipment in your home, electronic equipment or anything related to communication equipments, now that can be phone, a smartphone, that can be a laptop or something like that, means all of a sudden it can create some kind of problems. So you have to manage them properly. Okay. Suppose if you are traveling to somewhere, some places with your vehicles, in that case also make sure that you are managing the vehicles properly, because there is a chance that all of a sudden it can misfunction. Okay, so you have to work on those things also. So since it is transiting in your 4th house in the retrograde motion, I will say that if your vehicles or if your electronic equipments requires some kind of proper look and attention, then this is the time that you have to focus on those things, and then you will see that the things are turning much more better in your favor. So make the most out of it for the Taurus ascendant people. For the Gemini ascendant people, Mercury is your Lagna lord, and Mercury is transiting in your 3rd house in the retrograde motion. Mercury happens to be your 4th lord also. So this is a time, it indicates that it is high time when you have to look onto your efforts. You cannot put your ideas, your energy in multiple things all at same time. Here Mercury is retrograding in the 3rd house, so that means it is asking you to look onto your efforts, to look onto your energy, where you are putting into. Are you lacking something? Are you missing something? Look into it. Or is there something which you are ignoring, like suppose any of your talents, any of your hobbies which you are good at, but you are not giving enough attention to it. Look into it, check it, and then you will see that this retrograde Mercury will start giving you good results. Because don't forget, on 16th of September onwards, this Mercury will turn direct in the 3rd house itself, and that time the hard work which you did now, you will reap the good results of it. Since it is happening in the 3rd house, I will also say you that all of a sudden some short trips can be there, all of a sudden. And again at the same time, suppose you have planned some trips, because it turned retrograde, so there can be some kind of obstructions, the planned trips. And suppose if you have not planned it, all of a sudden something like, okay, you are visiting some place, so this kind of things can be there. Okay, since it is your Lagna lord retrograding in the 3rd house, so this also indicates that you have to be very careful regarding your health. I really mean it, because 3rd house is the house of efforts, means you have to put your efforts, and it is retrograding, it is your Lagna lord, so that means your decision making, your personality, your health. Your personality will be indicated by your communication, so how well you communicate with others. that will be looked upon during this particular time. Another thing I will say you that during this retrogression of Mercury, try to avoid any kind of arguments or conflict of interest between you and your people of daily contact. Now that can be your friends, that can be anyone with whom you meet in daily life, day-to-day life. It can be your cousins also, your younger siblings specifically. What you are saying and to whom you are conveying during this particular time is essential. If you are not sure about something, or if you think that this should not be said, don't say it. Out of your impulsion, don't do anything, don't say anything. Why? Because this Mercury is retrograding in the 3rd house of communication and speech. It is your 4th lord also. So I will also say that this is a time when you should be very careful regarding the health of your mother. Any matter related to your home, any electronic equipments at your home, you should manage it properly. Okay, and suppose if you are taking up some short trips in your vehicles, then make sure that you have maintained each and everything regarding your vehicles and your conveniences. Okay, during this particular Mercury retrograde period. So these are essential things to be taken care of. So that's it for the Gemini ascendant people. For the Cancer ascendant people, this retrogression of Mercury is happening in the 2nd house. Now here Mercury rules your 12th house, Mercury rules your 3rd house, and it is retrograding in the 2nd house. So the first and foremost thing here I will say that there is a possibility of expenditure, sudden expenditures. This is also a time when I will request you not to make any unnecessary investments or investment plans, because it may happen that you took some financial decisions or investment decisions, and later on you may feel that you shouldn't have taken it. So wait for it until unless Mercury turns direct. I will say you that try to avoid it. Okay, because expenditures are also seen all of a sudden, and those expenditures will be with regards to your family member or family matter. During this particular time I will also say you that try to avoid any kind of disputes or arguments with the elders of your family. Okay, since your 3rd lord is retrograding in the 2nd house, it also indicates that you will have to put more efforts. Means this can be like some kind of anxiety or frustration at the mental level. Means you will feel that now I have to put more efforts at the mental level in order to make the things proper at my family, at my home, or between me and my family members. This kind of feeling can be there. So I will say you that this is essential during this time to maintain proper calm and composed behavior. That will give you much more better results. Have a proper control over your speech and communication, because Mercury is transiting in the retrograde motion in the 2nd house of speech. So what you say, to whom you are saying, is very essential, and it is the ruler of your 12th house and 3rd house. That means subconscious mind and your communication skills. So there can be a possibility that you may imagine certain things. You may imagine certain things that means that may not be correct. And out of that imagination you say something. So you have to be very careful regarding those things. Okay, this is with respect to the Cancer ascendant people I'm saying during this particular time. So that's it for the Cancer ascendant people. Make the most out of it, I will say. Now next I will talk about the Leo ascendant people. Mercury is retrograding in your 1st house, and Mercury rules your finances. Basically Mercury rules your 11th house and 2nd house, your income and your storage of wealth, your family values, your wealth, your finances, your speech. Means it's a very important planet for you, for the Leo ascendant people, Mercury, and that Mercury is retrograding in the first house. So since it rules your finances and it is retrograding in the first house, so this indicates that you need to be very, very, very careful, and you should have a proper decision making regarding your investments and finances. You cannot take any wrong decisions. This Mercury indicates that if you have taken any wrong decisions in the past, those things will come in front of you and you will be able to learn from those things, those mistakes. This is also a moment when you will be able to rectify those mistakes. Now suppose any investment opportunities or any similar opportunities related to finance or money related thing is coming in front of you now, I will say that this is not the right time to act upon it. Let Mercury turns direct first, and then you can take some decisions regarding your finances and investment. Okay, these are the important part. Second part, what I will say you, that since Mercury is your second lord retrograding in the first house, so one more thing what I can say is that certain family matters will impact you. Don't forget, at this point of time, Mars is transiting in your second house of family. Certain family matters may create some kind of confusion or dilemma or some types of anxiety or frustration in your mind, and you have to work on it in a proper calm and composed behavior. You cannot get into some kind of dispute or arguments, because Mars is transiting in the second house. That can lead to some kind of fights, and you cannot allow that. Okay, because Mercury is retrograde, so what will happen that it will get into a series of events, and you cannot allow happen that. So I will say you that if certain those kind of things happens, then try to find the root of the problem, try to find the solution. That is what retrograde Mercury is all about. Rethinking, reevaluate. Okay, it is a process of finding the solution in a more creative manner. That is what retrograde planets are famous for. Okay, so make the most out of it. One more thing I will say you, that Mercury will be aspecting your 7th house, so there can be a possibility of miscommunication between you and your partner. Now that can be at the professional level also, at the personal level also. So you have to work on it in a proper manner. Like I will say you that if certain things happens in front of you or certain thing comes in front of you, try to sit with your partner, discuss it one to one. Otherwise the miscommunication will prevail, and when you discuss it one to one, you will see that the problems are getting sorted out. Okay, now suppose if you are not in any kind of partnership or you are not in any kind of relationship, in that case also I will say you that 7th house is the house of public image. So retrograde planet in your first house, you cannot make mistakes. Your decision making, your discipline, your punctuality should be at the highest level of perfection. That is what this Mercury retrogression is all about. So suppose on certain matters you are getting lethargic, or on certain matters you are procrastinating, so this is the moment I will say you that this Mercury will help you out to find out those mistakes, work on it, and you will see that you will get the good results out of it. Because don't forget, in your 7th house Saturn is retrograding, and Saturn is the judge. So you will feel as if the other person, the other people are judging you for your thoughts, for your thinking process. Okay, so work on those things. You will see that in the upcoming days you will get good results out of it. Okay, so that's it for the Leo ascendant people. For the Virgo ascendant people, this transit is happening in the 12th house, and I will say that this transit is to be taken care of. And for the Virgo people, at this point of time, Mars is transiting in your first house. So Mars is transit in the first house. Mars happens to be your 8th lord, and Lagna lord Mercury is transiting in the 12th house in the retrograde motion. So the first thing and the foremost thing which I will say you, that health care. In case of any health problem which you are running through, or suppose if you are having any kind of prevalent health condition, don't ignore it. you have to be very careful regarding those things, because 12th house is also the house of isolation, hospitals. So if you are not taking care of your health, then it can create problems for you, okay, or it can also lead to some kind of expenditures also. Now Mercury also rules your 10th house, and your 10th lord is retrograding in the 12th house. So that means there can be a possibility that you are visiting some far away place due to your work. Now that can be multiple visits also, means once you go the work is not done, again you go. So this kind of possibility can be there. Or all of a sudden you may get a project, or you may get a work where you need to work in isolation, but you may not like it, where you are getting to work in isolation but you may not like it, because your 8th lord Mars is transiting in the first house. So there can be some kind of frustration and anxiety and some sense of insecurity also. So this kind of things can be there. Now one of the remedy here I will say you that try to bring up some hobbies, like that can be book reading, that can be music, that can be art, means any hobbies which you have. Try to follow those hobbies in your free time, when you are alone or when you are not doing anything else. It will make you keep you busy in some positive things, and ultimately it will rejuvenate your mind, okay, because 12th house is also the house of isolation. So or suppose book reading, suppose if you learn to means read something, or you love to write something, if you are a good writer also, in that case also I will say you that these hobbies can help you during this particular time. For the Virgo people I am talking about, this will not only give you a proper peace of mind, but also you will see that it is allowing you to take right decisions. Just one more thing I will add here is that transit of Mercury in the 12th house normally leads to miscommunication, and it is retrograde. So what will happen is that I will say you that if you want to convey certain things to someone, don't think that the person will understand it. Don't think that the person will understand it. You have to make him or her understand, then only the things will be in order. Otherwise you will think they may not get it, so that can lead to miscommunication. This is one piece of advice I will give you, okay, for the Virgo people. Next comes for the Libra ascendant. Mercury's retrogression is happening in the 11th house. Now normally the retrogression of Mercury in the 11th house is considered good. Here I will say you that it is a mixed transit. Certain things are very good and certain things has to be taken care of. Now let me talk about the good things first. Mercury is your 12th lord and 9th lord. Now 9th lord retrograding in the 11th house, that means your hard work will follow your luck and fortune, and it will bring opportunity for your gains, prosperity, income. So that means this is also it also indicates that you learn new thing, you follow your work, and ultimately it is making way for your income, for your prosperity and everything. This is also an indication that there can be all of a sudden some kind of expansion of your social communication, or you may get connected with someone from your past in your network circle, okay, this kind of good things can be there. Or you may all of a sudden meet a good friend from your past during this particular time. Another thing is that suppose if you are working in a group or a team and certain things are not working out, then this retrograde Mercury will help you out to make those things correct, okay. Now these are the good things I will say. Now certain matters may be like difficult. I will say you that if you are associated with any work related to communication sector, like that can be reading, writing, communication skills like journalism, mass communication, even if you are a student or teacher, in that case also this retrogression of Mercury in the 11th house you need to be careful regarding your communication skills, your speech and communication regarding what you are saying or what you are conveying to the other people. Okay, specifically at your network circle, in a group of people where you are working. Okay, since you are associated with communication sector in your job or in your work. Okay, so these are the things you need to be very careful about. Another thing is that Mercury is your 12th lord retrograding in the 11th house, so that means this is a time when you need to be very careful regarding your expenditures also. There is a possibility that you gain something, you have some income and it gets into expenditures. Okay, so these are the things you need to be very careful about. Another thing is that Mercury, since it is your 9th lord retrograding in the 11th house, I will also say you that this is also a time when you need to be very careful regarding the health of your father. Okay, Mercury will be aspecting your 5th house, so this will give you a good opportunity to learn new things regarding your intelligence, your creative skill set. But again, this is also an indication that there can be some kind of miscommunication between you and your loved ones, means your romantic partner. Okay, so suppose if you are in any kind of love or romantic relationship, in that case with your partner there can be some kind of miscommunications. Try to resolve it by sitting one to one and listening to each other. That will give you much more better results for the Libra ascendant people. For the Scorpio ascendant people, this Mercury retrogression is happening in the 10th house. Now Mercury happens to be your 8th lord retrograding in the 10th house, so that means certain matters related to your work, your job, your profession or your authority or your administration may be a reason of frustration or anxiety for you. Means you may not like certain things, or there can be certain events happening in and around you at your workplace which you may not like. This kind of things can be there. Another thing is that since it is your it is happening in the 10th house, so it is very essential that while you are managing the paperwork or documents, or suppose you are sending some kind of email to someone, okay, in that case also you need to be very careful that look the matters very carefully. You should not miss anything, otherwise it may happen that you are sending the mail again and again. Okay, means one mistake leads to another. What you are communicating with your co-workers, with your authorities and with your superiors, it should be impeccable with your thoughts and ideas. Means certain things which you should not say should not be said, or suppose if you are conveying something, it should be like backed by logic and analytics, then only it should be conveyed, else not. Mercury is your 8th lord looking onto your 4th house, so certain matter at your home also, some domestic matters may not be going as per your expectations. There can be some kind of confusion and dilemma at your home or domestic level also, so try to work on those things one by one, and that will give you good results. One good thing what I can say is that your 11th lord is Mercury. The Virgo sign is ruled by Mercury, and at this point of time your Lagna lord Mars is transiting in the 11th house, and your 11th lord is retrograding in the 10th house, which indicates that at this moment of time more you are inclined to hard work, more you are inclined to proper discipline, proper management skills, proper orderly deliverance of your work. More consistency will give you better results in the upcoming days and time, because don't forget it is happening in the sign of Leo. Leo is a sign of ego, but it is also the sign of creativity and administration, name and fame. So more you are performing your work in a proper manner, more it is going to give you good results. Okay, so make the most out of it. For the Sagittarius ascendant people, this Mercury retrograde is happening in the 9th house, and for these Sagittarius people, Mercury rules your 7th house, Mercury rules your 10th house. Now 10th lord is retrograding in the 9th house. First of all, it indicates that suppose if you are thinking of some kind of transfer in your work, or suppose if you are thinking to change your work, there is a possibility that you may get some opportunity regarding that. There can be some kind of travels related to your work, some long distance travels all of a sudden. Now since Mercury is your 10th lord retrograding in the 9th house, it also indicates that if you want to improve your knowledge, your education with regards to your work, or suppose you want to learn new things, this is a time when you can actually apply for some higher education, which will ultimately help you in your work, in your job. Suppose if you are thinking about that, then this is the time when you can apply for it, when you can think about it, or you can act upon it. Okay, because your 5th lord Mars at this moment of time, it is transiting in your 10th house. So your joy, your pleasure, your intelligence will be all towards your work, and your work requires some kind of extra knowledge to be learned. That is the reason your Mercury is transiting in your 9th house in the retrograde mode. So it indicates that certain things are there which if you work upon, if you learn, in the upcoming days it is going to give you very good results. This also indicates that all of a sudden some kind of long distance travels can be there, like some kind of religious pursuits. All of a sudden you may get interested in religious and occult studies, spiritual studies during this particular time. There can be some kind of miscommunication between you and your father. I will also say that take care regarding the health of your father, the elders of your family, or suppose if you are visiting your guru, your teacher, then I will say you that more you are listening to their words, more you are listening to the good words of your guru or your father, teachings of your father, more it is going to give you good results. Okay, make the most out of it. Another thing is that Mercury will be looking on to your 3rd house. For the Sagittarius people, I will say that since Mercury is transiting in the 9th house, it will be aspecting your 3rd house, and this is also a time any hobby or any creative talent which you had but you ignored in the past, this is a possibility that you may restart it, or you may think about it, or you may gain some skills about it. Okay, so in that case, in that way it will give you good results. Okay. So that's it for the Sagittarius ascendant people. For the Capricorn ascendant people, this Mercury is retrograde in the 8th house. Now for the Capricorn ascendant people, Mercury is a very good planet. Mercury is basically your 9th lord. It is retrograding in the 8th house, but although it is your 9th lord, it is retrograding in the 8th house. So that means this is a time when you have to completely rely on your hard work, on your thinking skills, on your realistic thinking skills, more towards dharma, more towards righteousness, because you may feel that you are doing so much work and so many things, but you are not getting enough out of it. You may feel that I am not getting the support of my luck. All of a sudden the things has got stand still. So there can be some unnecessary frustration and anxiety coming in front of you, within you. Some insecurity or some kind of fear can be there. Now this Mercury happens to be your 6th lord also. For the Capricorn ascendant people, it is your 6th lord also. It is retrograding in the 8th house. So this also indicates that you need to be very careful regarding your health. On any matter related to health issues or any prevalent health issues, don't ignore it. Try to be more careful regarding those things. In case you need some kind of medical attention, then this is the time when you should really work on it. That will give you much more better results. And since it is your 9th lord retrograding in the 8th house, so I will also say you that take care regarding the health of your father. Okay, this is very essential during this particular time. And Mercury will be looking onto your 2nd house, and it is retrograding in the 8th house. So any matter related to your joint asset or fixed asset, you should not take any important decisions now. This is not the right time. Okay, let Mercury come out of the 8th house, and then you can think about it. Okay, so any financial decisions or investment matters, try to avoid it. Don't take any important decisions now. There can be some kind of communication issue between you and your in-laws, in case you are married, or in your married life also. In case you are married, in your married life also some kind of miscommunications can be there between you and your partner. Okay, I will also say you that this is not a right time to collaborate with other partner at the professional level. Try to avoid it. Okay, because it is in the 8th house and it is retrograde, so there can be some kind of reversals. Okay, try to avoid it. So that's it for the Capricorn ascendant people. For the Aquarius ascendant people, Mercury is retrograde in the 7th house. Now Mercury is a very good planet for you because Mercury rules your 5th house and your 8th house, but Mercury is retrograde in the 7th house at this point of time. Now since it is your 5th lord retrograde in the 7th house, so that means there can be a possibility that in your love and romantic relationship, there are certain things yet to be resolved or yet to be taken care of before you get into some kind of proper relationship like marriage or something else. Okay, so suppose if you are in any kind of relationship in love and romantic bonding, I will say you that there are certain matters which are still unresolved. Try to resolve it. Try to talk with your partner. Okay, try to communicate with him or her in a more one-to-one mode, and then that will give you good results in the upcoming days and months. Okay, otherwise that can lead to some kind of miscommunication, and it will increase day by day. This I am talking if you are in any kind of relationship, or if you are thinking to get into any kind of relationship. In that case also there are some unresolved matters which needs to be taken care of. Now Mercury happens to be your 8th lord also for the Aquarius ascendant people. It is transiting in the retrograde mode in the 7th house. This indicates that if you are already in your married life, or if you are in some kind of partnership, be it professional, be it personal, your 8th lord Mercury is retrograde in the 7th house. So that indicates that certain things or certain it can be like conflict of interest also, or disputes also, all of a sudden it will resurface in front of you and you have to look into it. Means anything which you have ignored in the past, you might have a thought that okay, leave it, let it go. Means you might have a thought in this way, but those things are coming in front of you at this point of time. This I am talking if you are already in some kind of partnership. So in that way this will create some kind of miscommunications and you have to work on it, and then only it will give you good results. Don't forget, Mercury will be in conjunction with Sun. Sun is your 7th lord. Your 7th lord and your 8th lord will be conjunct in the 7th house, and your 8th lord is retrograde in the 7th house. So it will directly impact your partnership, your spouse. Okay, so you have to be very careful regarding the health of your spouse also during this particular time. Now suppose if you are not into any kind of relationship or not into any kind of partnership, in that case I will say you that your personality, your decision making, your day-to-day discipline and punctuality has to be taken care of more promptly, because 7th house is the house of public image. 8th lord is transiting in the retrograde mode along with the 7th lord. So that means it may happen that if you are not performing your work, if you are not performing your day-to-day activities, or your decision making is not correct, suppose in that case what will happen, you may face some kind of opposition from the other people, or you may feel that as if the other people are critically judging you, okay, on certain matters. So this kind of feelings can be there. So I will say you that suppose if you are not associated with any kind of partnership or relationship, just follow your personality in a proper manner, be more disciplined, be more punctual. That will give you much more better results, I will say you. So that's it for the Aquarius ascendant people. For the Pisces ascendant people, this is happening in your 6th house. Mercury is retrograding in the 6th house, and for the Pisces people, Mercury rules your 4th house and 7th house. So here two things I will say you. The first thing is that any matter related to your home and homely environment, means your domestic space, or the health of your mother, or your bonding with your mother. These are the things, in the first case I will say that you need to be very careful about. Certain matters related to your home, or certain matters related to your peace of mind or your happiness. Happiness means the domestic happiness. Certain things which is not taken care of, all of a sudden is coming in front of you, and it is creating some kind of anxiety in front of you, and you have to work on it. This is the first thing. Second thing is that Mercury rules your 7th house. So suppose if you are associated with any kind of relationship or partnership, at the personal level or at the professional level, there can be some kind of disputes or conflict of interest between you and your partner during this transit of Mercury in the retrograde motion in the 6th house. So it will resurface all of a sudden, because since it is transiting in the 6th house, you will feel it as if the things are going on, but now it is becoming more intense day by day. But I will also say you that on 2nd of October, when Mercury leaves the sign of Leo, it enters the sign of Virgo. By that time the things will be much more easier, or I will say the things will turn much more light for you. The problems will be much more solved. So till then I will say that if you are facing this kind of problems, try to resolve it from the root level. Okay, don't allow any miscommunication ruin the things or ruin the problems situation in front of you. Okay, so if you are facing some kind of disputes or conflict of interest, try to resolve it one to one. Okay, that will give you much more better results. Now suppose if you are not in any kind of partnership or relationship, in that case I will say you that your 7th lord and 4th lord retrograding in the 6th house. Here the first thing I will say you that there can be some matters related to your health which you need to be taken care of, because this Mercury will be aspected by your 11th and 12th lord Saturn. Saturn is transiting in your 12th house now. It is your 11th lord also, 12th lord also, retrograding in the 12th house, aspecting that Mercury. So there can be like some problems related to speech or nervous issues, nervous system issues, or some kind of skin ailments. Why? Because at this point of time Mars is transiting in the sign of Virgo in the 7th house, and Mars will be aspecting your 1st house and 2nd house. Okay, so there can be some skin rashes or skin related ailments or nervous system issues, or something related to speech. So I will say you that these are the things you need to be very careful about, and if you are having these things, these kind of problems, then you have to follow proper discipline, health related discipline more, and take care regarding those things in a more prompt manner. Don't ignore it. Okay, so these are the things you need to be very careful about. Since it is conjunct with Sun in the 6th house and it is retrograde, so two good things which I can say is that it will allow you to follow your intelligence in a more learning manner. Means you can learn new things while you are applying your intelligence in your service, in your job, or while you are working with your co-workers. Means along with your co-workers also some kind of miscommunications can be there, but since Sun is also transiting along with Mercury, so you will be able to learn new things simultaneously. This is the one thing. Second thing is that suppose if you are at the administrative level yourself, then this is a time when you can make some good opportunities or good ideas towards your subordinates, or take care regarding your subordinates. Okay, in that way that will give you much more better results. So make the most out of it. That's it for the Pisces ascendant people. So I have discussed for all the 12 ascendant people for this Mercury retrogression in the sign of Leo for the month of August 2023, and it will go on for next 24 days. It will end in 16th of September 2023. So till then you have to be cautious about certain things regarding all the 12 ascendant signs. And if you have liked this video, press the like button, share it to your near and dear ones, so that they can also come to know about this particular transit of Mercury happening in the sign of Leo. in the retrograde motion, and your comments are always welcome to me on certain matters which I said you during this video. If you face this kind of things, or if you are already facing from last 1 or 2 days, then do write it down below in the comment box. Okay, and if you are new to this channel, then tap onto the subscribe button, click onto the notification bell icon, so that every time I make a new video you get notified instantly. And anytime if you want a consultation from me, check the links down in the description section. You can mail me through my mail ID, or you can get connected with me through my Facebook or Instagram accounts. You can find all the links down in the description section. Okay, so that's it from me now. Next time when I come back, I will come back with some another interesting videos. So I'm signing off for today. Thanking you. Bye bye.